What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumbass. Like and subscribe. Hype. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Jamie Moran on Twitter is. I like him. I follow him. I believe I follow him. I must because he keeps popping up on my timeline. I like him. I like him on Boom Show. I forget which show. Boom does like a trillion shows a week, so I'm not sure, but he's on there somewhere. And he has his own podcast, which I cannot remember. The point is, he mentioned about what was popping off today. What was happening today is that I don't know if it's journalists. We need to come up with a new word that is representative of former journalists that are now just making up shit. I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm exhausted, brain wise. I'm exhausted, so I cannot think of any words. So it'll come one day. But what I saw, and then Jamie, I just saw his tweet and it reminded me of what's going on. Basically, some journos, let's call them that for now, are predicting what the Xbox Helix will sell in the first year, and then the next subsequent 4 years or something like that. I can't remember. So they're saying it's going to sell like 2 million in the first year. And I was like, all right. And then they said, oh, but the PlayStation 6, oh, that's going to sell 7 million in the first year and then go to I'm like, what is this based? What is this presumption? What is this prediction based off of? Is it based off of the previous console? Because the previous console is not the next gen. The next gen doesn't exist yet. The hardware isn't even, I mean, I guess the Helix probably has prototypes out there, you know what I'm saying? Because they already have the chip. So I will assume that they constructed a Helix at some point. Just saying. But you're predicting, you're just throwing up dust in the wind. You're predicting stuff that has like no basis. Like what is your basis? Do you know how much the PlayStation chip costs? Do you know how much the Xbox chip costs? Do you know how many PlayStation bought? Sorry, chips go. Do you know how many Xbox bought? Let's assume they bought equal amounts of chips. 10 million chips. Everybody each bought 10 million chips, ordered at least, or whatever. That's what they have for the first year to manufacture it for the public. Where does 2 million, where do you pull this out of your ice? Your arse. Where are you pulling this out of your dingleberries? Where is this coming from? 2 million. Where? You don't know what the price is. You don't know what specs they're going to have as far as hard drive. You don't know nothing. And so your prediction is nothing. Zero is zilch. It's worth less. It's worth less than anything. And the same goes with the PlayStation one too, because they're even further out. I swear, man, it's like I could be a journalist at this point. It's creative writing. That's what journalism is right now. It's not about going and talking to people and getting information and then going to get some more information from different sources to corroborate and all that. No. It's like, let's make up some news. What should we make up? Oh, well, what about the console sales? How about that? Nah, that's kind of, yeah, we could do that. How many Xboxes are going to sell? 2. What, just 2? No, 2 million. Come on. We got to be kind of unrealistically realistic. 2 million when is that, in the first month? No, the first 10 years. It's like, okay, no, that's not enough. 10 years? Come on, son. What are you talking about? Okay, fine. 5 years? No. Fine, a year. Okay, that's more believable. Let's write that. They just go into a meeting room and say, what we're gonna make up today. And that's that. What I just went through, that's their discussion. It's ridiculous. It's like, we need to start boycotting these sites. Because I mean, it's not even the sites, it's like the tweets. You gotta it's hard to circumvent it because, I don't know if they get paid for the views or whatever. Maybe. Look, we got to do something to hurt these fools because they are literally destroying the industry, not wholly and totally, but they're not making it better. They're not helping the health of the industry. One thing I'll say about Phil Spencer was an advocate for the industry. He wanted to make sure that the industry survived, that it was healthy, that it was growing, blah, blah, blah. And I think that was his one flaw because no one else in the industry was on the same page. They were all trying to kill each other and all these things and to do whatever it takes to destroy the enemy, destroy the competition. And that's so stupid because you need competition in order for the industry to thrive. But whatever. Sony and Nintendo, they don't understand. And like I always go back to, maybe it's an Asia thing, maybe it's a Japan thing. I don't know. Remember, Sony is still Japan. You may think just because PlayStation moved their headquarters, nah, bro. Hiroki Totoki, that's not an English name. He's Japanese, and he's $400,000 richer since July 3rd. You know what I'm saying? Hiroki Totoki pulled the okie dokie. He cashed out, moved to Pahokee. Anyway, oh man. So yeah, it's like, let's make up more stuff. But what I do like, what's happening, right? Guys like Jay Moran and other people who are seeing this, we're speaking, we're using our voices, we are saying something about it instead of just like, whatever, ignoring. No. Twitter, the internet, YouTube has given us creators the ability to counteract the falsities that these journos are pushing. The agendas, whoever they work for, and whoever they work for, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's what it is. And so, even though they have influence, influencers have more. Like, let's just say if like, what's his name? K-Sanat? Is that his name? Or what? Mr. Beast. One of the big guys. I mean, he's a little past YouTube, but someone with super a lot of influence as an influencer, saying all the right things, saying not all the right things, but saying all the true things, not being a fanboy. Like Colin Moriarty is a good example of how not to wield your power. He is a highly intelligent individual, and I hate the fact that he's wasting his, I don't know, brain frequencies on console war idiocy. And it's like, he has good ideas, but he says the wrong thing sometimes. And I'm like, no, I'm an idiot, right? I'm a dumbass. And I listen to him sometimes. He said something, I think it was Alex that was listening to him, and basically he summed it all up and said the call to arms for the ponies were to dismiss physical, basically. Yeah, don't worry about physical. It's all about like digital rights or whatever, DRM and all that stuff, right? And I'm like, part of that is true, but the actual whole picture is that we can have both. And there's a way that PlayStation / Sony can make it so that physical games, physical media still exists, and they can make a profit off of it. But they're so short-sighted, and they are whatever they are, that they don't see that. They want the quickest way. Cut this. Let's make stuff for AI. So we get more money in the AI. Then we're gonna get more money from the digital. Blah blah blah. And it's like Colin like got the email from Sony and said, yeah, this is the talking points. Like, oh, okay, so all right. And then he goes and does it. Like, it's like he doesn't have his own thoughts. I know he does, because he's smart. And that's what frustrates me even more. It's like, how can a smart person like him kind of be not smart? I was like, huh? Maybe it's the thing where it's like, I know some smart people they have less common sense than their book or academic smarts. That happens sometimes. They're in the books, they're in the weeds about facts and all these things and data and statistics, and they like common sense just it floats them by. Maybe that's the case. Maybe in the world where he's like, look, this is business. You know what? I think that's what it might be. It might be more business on his brain than actual common sense. And when I say common sense, I mean, Business is comprised of, yes, the fiduciary part of it, but also there's an emotional part to business, especially when you're giving products, especially when you're selling artistic works of art, which are games. Games will trigger emotions from people. And these artistic endeavors, these artistic products have feeling attached to them. It's not just business, it's not just, oh, I mean, a lot of, when it comes to consumerism, consumers have emotions. When you go to buy something, you're like, oh, yo, I'm gonna go buy a new car, right? It depends on the person, obviously, but generally speaking, if you are not feeling the car, and let's just imagine all the cars are the same price, but you're looking at this car, it's like, yeah, nah, that color's whack, and the wheels look stupid, and yeah, I don't want that car. I don't want to be seen driving that car. Emotionally, I'm not, the vibe isn't there. No. Then you go over here, oh snap, that car's hot, son. Ooh, the color is perfect. Ooh, deep and do. I'm gonna put my money over there. Emotions, feeling, want, desire, blah, 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 whatever. I'm just saying. Same with the art, same with the games. Purchasing is not just, let me just buy this. I mean, like I said, for some it is. I'm gonna buy this because it's worth way more, so I'm gonna pay less for it, then I'm sell it later. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about flipping houses and flipping cars and stuff. We're talking about a person buying a thing because they want to, they want that, they love it, whatever, right? And I don't think Colin thinks about that side of the consumerism and the, capitalism, if you will. And when you say capitalism, that kind of just gets thrown out the window because people don't think about it as, oh, it's an emotional bond between the consumer and the product. And I mean, you could posit it that way, but honestly, whatever. But you need to have a hook for your product, and that hook is an emotional hook. It's not a fiduciary. It's not like, oh yeah, you buy this, it's cheap, and then you can sell it next week for 10 times the amount. It's like, no, that's not how video games work. It's not how cars work. Cars where you roll 1 foot off the lot, it's worth $10,000 less. No, not that much less, but you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, smart people. I'm glad I'm not what. Glad I'm not one of them. I'm a dumbass. You know what? Ignorance is bliss. Sometimes ignorance can also get you hurt. Sometimes. I'm just saying. But anyway, back to talking about video games. So once again, the journalists with these made up stories, and I think there's kind of like a two sides to this, right? It's like, okay, they're spitting idiocy. They're not. It's not even facts. It's just whatever. It's not even rumors. It's just a made up story, right? The fact that we're giving credence to it, the fact that not credence, but the fact that we're giving any attention to it is a positive for them. But we need to give attention to it in order to highlight the fact that it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they'll get some clicks and they'll get some eyes on it, but at the same time, they may gain a reputation of them being a full of shite site or full of shite poster or full of whatever. You know what I'm saying? I remember Destructo, it was cool, and then everybody left, and then it was like, what's Destructo? And I'm like, I don't know. Who's over there? Nobody. And it wasn't even about like what they wrote or anything. It was just like all their personalities left. And some went to IGN, some went solo dolo. And then you go to like, I guess Kotaku is, I don't know. I mean, a bunch of them are just bad faith, bad faith sites and stuff, whatever. But this is something that we have to deal with, and I think we're doing okay. We need to shout them out. Like I said before in the previous video, we as content creators need to take the power that we have, the voice that we have, and we need to shout louder. We need to be out there. We need to be calling out these people. We need to make content that's compelling. We need to gain a huge audience so that we can use that power for accuracy and something that the journalists aren't doing. We need to it's counter programming basically for what they're doing. And what they're doing is just a bunch of shite. And so that's I was like, I I miss the days back in the day when it was just like EGM. You get the actual magazine, you look at it, and it was like nice, simple before the internets. I guess the internet was early, before, before Twitter, before YouTube, before all of that, just like, shh, you didn't hear nobody say nothing about nothing. It's just like, yo, let me check out those screenshots. When's that coming out? All snap. Then you go to the quarter main section. Was that EGM? Yeah. And you look at it, it's like, oh, snap, that's dope. All that good stuff. And now it's like, we don't even have anything like that. We don't have video game comics. Whatchamacallit used to do, there used to be a comic inside of, I think it was inside of EGM. And it was cool. I liked it. But I can't remember what it was called. I got a bunch of old EGMs. I might as well flip through them. I don't know why I still have those magazines. I guess I'll sell them. Maybe. I don't know. Is anybody a collector of old video game magazines? I got a bunch. I got a bunch of Sega Visions. Those are dope. I'm still mad at a friend of mine who I lent him all of my, I think it was all of my Sega Vision demo disc, and never gave him back. I was like, and he gave him to his cousin. I was like, oh damn. I was so mad. But I wasn't mad. I was just like, all right. It's like, all right, cool. Not cool, but whatever. But yeah. Anyway, we gotta do something. So one thing that I'm gonna start doing, I decided it today, and it was based off of the timeline that I gave, not the timeline, but how fast I'm doing this one track called No More Physical. And I got like 2 bars left, and I wrote the last of it, and then I'm gonna throw something else on the end of it, but that's about it. So I could definitely do it in by the end of this week. It's today Wednesday. Yeah, I'm gonna probably give it until Sunday. Maybe I'll post it on Monday. I'll see. But the what I want to do is one song per month. I was gonna say one song a week. Like, no, that's impossible. It's not possible, but no. I want to have some time to get in the flow and stuff. And the fact that, like, I wrote the there's a new intro that I'm gonna put on my videos, and it's I wrote that one, right, and it's alright. And then I wrote this one right after, and I was like, now that's better. And it's basically, you just got to practice, right? Something you want to do, practice, and you get better. And so, I mean, I was always at a certain level, but I never really kind of got into it where I made it more of a muscle. I like a muscle reflex instead of just trying to sit down and, I mean, or be inspired and then do something. I know some artists do that. They say, I can't do anything because I'm not inspired, so they don't do anything, and then they get inspired, then they do something. And those are the artists that you don't see a lot of stuff. So I want to have a song a month. That way I can fill my quota of, I owe you guys like 3 songs already, I think. Because it was 500, 1,000, and 2,000. So yeah, 3 songs. Well, I did 1 song. So actually it's 2 songs, but I'm coming up on 3,000. It's going to be 3 songs. So every 1,000 subs I get, I'm going to do a new song. That's my promise to you guys. But I want to do a song a week. A song a month. So if I actually do the song a month, then that would fill the quota, and it'll coincide. So I was like, oh yeah, I got 3,000, and then I have a new song coming out, whatever. So that'll work out better for everybody. And the main reason why I'm doing it is I want to. I also want to. It's just like, as a guy who makes music and writes and stuff, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, why not just do it? And it's more of like the No More Physical is a commentary on Sony stopping physical discs. So you'll see it's dense with words. It's, I think, my most dense song, because it's a fast. The flow is it's one of my fastest flows, I would say. I think the BPM is like 125, which isn't that fast, but I'm usually in like the 90s, right? Because I like it like that kind of smoother, slower boom bap stuff. Anyway, so a song a month, that's the goal. So I'm gonna finish this song, and I'm gonna finish the intro. Now the intro is gonna take a while, so I'm not gonna count that as anything. That's just like whatever. That is a song, but it's the intro, and because I want to do something special with the visuals. And that's the one thing that makes this thing take so long, because I can do songs quick. I could do a track for like it doesn't take more than honestly, I could do a track basic foundational track for like 30 minutes. I could slap one together. But if I want to go and be meticulous and go through the parts and stuff like that, then 4 hours I can have it pretty much done, formatted and stuff. And then if I want to take more time, what I like to do is I'll do like one session, and then I'll boop, turn everything off, boosh, cleanse the brain, cleanse the ears, and I come back and listen to it again, like with fresh ears, and then you can hear like all the mistakes if there are any. You know what I mean? And it's not really actual mistakes, but it's just like you'll hear harmonics that aren't there, which is weird. Once you have once you train your ear a certain way, you can hear the notes that aren't there, basically. And you hear different melodies, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, the month gives me the time to do what I need to do for the mix and for the actual music itself. And then the writing part, I'm not the best writer, and I haven't been writing consistently, so it's gonna take me a while to get in there, get in the groove. Like like, yeah, man, it took me 10 minutes to write this rhyme, and he got 69 bars. I'm like, man, this guy's this guy's a beast, machine genius guy. He's good. He's one of the best MCs. So what are you gonna do? But the main thing is that the visual part. Like I can do a song in a week, no problem, right? But the visual part, I was having trouble, and so I decided to do it more of a. It's going to be a lyric video with some like whatchamacallit, just looped animation in the background. Something simple, colorful and stuff, so that it's easier for me to actually create that, and then I can put all that stuff together in a timely fashion. Because if I do it the other way, the first song I did, On You, took me from start. I mean, if I put all together like the time I worked on it, about 4 months. But it was about a year and more than a year when I first started it. Like I just started the song itself, and then doing it took me over a year. Because it's like, oh, I gotta do this and go on vacation, blah, 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 I gotta work, blah, blah, blah. It's hard to do. I can only work on the weekends because I need to do just green screen, blah, blah, blah. It's just a whole bunch of things, So, but now I can do this, and I can sit down for a couple of hours and knock out the visual stuff, And sit down a couple of hours, knock out the music. Sit down a couple of hours, write it, So it's better that way. But anyway, sorry for the rambles, but I just wanted to explain that stuff, and also say I did not forget. I made a promise to y'all, and I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm doing it right now, and I'm gonna go home right now. I'm so tired right now. This heat is ridiculous. This stuff out here, this the hot heat. No, it's no. You know what? People are like, oh, I love the weather. I'm thinking about mountains and snow right about. I'm like, yo, come on, son. And the sun went out, right? So it's like, oh, it's not that bad. Man, heat index like 110. I'm like, what? Why? Are we already hot? Why? Oof, it's ridiculous. It really does it's like, imagine going to the beach at the hot of summer every day. Yeah, you get tired. You get farmer's tan too. See it? I'm not showing you. Anyway, I appreciate you. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think about all these fake journals, giving these fake stories about fakeness. Yeah. And also, as far as the music stuff, let me know if you guys like it. If you don't, what kind of music do you think I should try? Because I've just been doing whatever I feel like. But I mean, I do have a bias against like trap or analog. I've come to adapt some analog sounds. I don't like the snares. I don't like the hats or the toms. I don't like that stuff on the analog side. But the 808 is cool. Some of the snares are alright. I'm gonna go back on that. Some of the snares are cool, like the clap type, and I do mix them. I mix the 808. I mix that with another type of kick. I mix the snares with a bunch of stuff, and I usually use like jazz, hip hop type of hats and stuff, open hats and closed hats. Maybe a little shaker here and there. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of mix them all together. So because I don't know. For me, like when I listen to like certain trap music or trap tracks, it just doesn't sound. It sounds like my first beat. If you know what I'm saying, it's like I'm like it doesn't sound like that hat. It sounds like it's being held back. Like give it some power. You know what I'm saying? I like a little bit of aggressive cinematic flavor, vibe, if you will, in my music. And I think that comes across. I don't know. Let me know. I think it's from growing up. Sorry for the tangent again, but this is the last thing. I think it's growing up from when I was a kid. I used to listen to like Prince, Purple Rain and stuff. Even though I was super mature, but I was a kid and I didn't know what he was talking about. But I was like, "That's cool, yay, Purple Banana, Darling Nikki." Listen, that's a cool song. Like, oh wait a second, what's going on with the castle and the grinding? Huh? I didn't know what was going on. Now I know Prince was the man. Prince was the man. He's great. I even liked what was it, the Cranberry Beret? That was alright. That album, I mean, Purple Rain is his greatest. Let's be real. After the generation, I mean, after the revolution, he did the new power generation. I was like, but I wasn't feeling him after that. He was still good though. Like I heard a bunch of his stuff that he did for other artists because he's a super producer. And yo, his music was so clean. Like his mixes were like, I was like, damn, that sound like. Anyway, sorry. But I used to listen to Prince. Everybody listened to Michael Jackson, whatever. But I also listened to John Williams. As a kid, I was like, yo, Star Wars, son. Specifically The Empire Strikes Back. Also specifically the asteroid field track on Empire Strikes Back. That's one of my that's cool. I like it because I like the sequence in the movie itself. And then I followed John Williams. And then when he did Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I think that's one of his best scores of that. I think he stopped after that, actually. I'm not sure. But if you pay attention, right, when John Williams scores a movie, if it's not Steven Spielberg, it usually is, but if it's not Steven Spielberg, it depends on the movie. And like, was it Alfonso Cuarón, I think, directed that movie? And depending on the director, it changes the visual style of the movie, the vibe, if you will. And it also changes what he does composition wise. And so I was listening and I was like, yo, this is like John Williams. Did he eat his Wheaties this morning? Because this is not the same, Steven Spielberg type of stuff. And Chris Columbus directed the first two. So Chris Columbus is, he's good. He directed, what else did he go direct? He wrote The Goonies. I think he co-wrote The Goonies. I think he co-wrote it, but he wrote The Goonies. But that was Richard Donner who directed The Goonies. So similar to Spielberg, but that wasn't even John Williams that scored that movie. So, but I'm just relating to Chris Columbus to that. But anyway, and then Chris Columbus also directed Bicentennial Man. That's a sad movie. But James Horner did the movie. I'm sorry, I'm going off on so James Horner did the soundtrack of Bicentennial Man, which is really good. That and Beautiful Mind, which are both James Horner. Almost peak James Horner. That's really good. That was his piano days, like his arpeggiated piano, basically, but he played it. But you go back talking about James Horner, Krull. I remember watching Krull as a kid. I was like, wow, this is cool, right? And then all the music, all the hero music and stuff. I was like, wow, that's cool, right? And then I saw Star Trek, Wrath of Khan. It's like, wow, that music sounds just like Krull. James Horner. Then I watched Battle Beyond the Planets. Wow, that music sounds like Star Trek. James Horner. So, and then when James Horner did Titanic, I was like, it's James Horner, but that's all. You know what I'm saying? My heart will go on and all that. So I was like, all right, well, he blew up on that, but whatever. And he did Aliens, of course. He did a bunch of stuff, and he's gone too soon. I don't know if he got or he was a pilot, I guess, so he crashed his plane and he passed away. But he was one of the greats. He was top 10 definitely, you know. And like listening to him as I grew up kind of like infused into my brain. When I started doing tracks, I was like, yo, I want it to be, I'm not like just saying, oh, I want it to be epic. Because if I sit down and say, yo, I'm gonna write an epic track, it's gonna have a lot of orchestrations. That's not a word. It's gonna have a lot of orchestrations and a lot of horns. And OLC, he also did Apollo 13. That's really good. There's a track when what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? The pilot guy. Wow, he played the guy in the X-Men movie. I'm like, wow, Jason. Anyway, he was the pilot. He was trying to dock the Apollo 13 to, I can't remember what it was, to get fuel or something. I forget what they were doing, but he was trying to dock it, right? And it was like a horn track, and I was like, yo. And then I think the best part of like synergy with imagery and music was when the Apollo 13 rocket was taking off, and they had it was like the countdown. They were like having they had like a tense kind of dope music going on. I was like, ah, oh man, that was good. That was a Ron Howard joint. Ron Howard directed that. But look, long story short, too late. Yeah, orchestral movie soundtracks have definitely affected how I make music. So if that stuff isn't in there, and the thing I want to remind people or explain to people or let people know is that I don't tend to use loops like from movies or anything like that. Like I'll hear something, I was like, oh, that's dope, and I can replay it. I can play the parts, but I tend to not do that either. I'll try to get the feeling and the essence of the vibe of whatever it is. I'll try to match the instrumentation with the instruments and stuff, different string section, complementing with the horns and all that stuff. And I'll come up with something myself. And, it's just something I do, whatever. But I throw in different type of instruments. I'll do synths. I'll do orchestral stuff. Definitely guitars and stuff like that. So, and I'm doing more sub bass because that's kind of the trend. So, I'm trying to accommodate all the things. But anyway, I'm sorry. Sorry for the rambles. If you didn't like this part, let me know. If y'all don't like me talk about music, but I like music, I'm gonna keep with the music. Maybe I'll do some videos with me making beats and stuff, but not when I get a proper setup. Then I'll do that. But whatever. But anyway, I appreciate. And I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Till to wait.